Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cousins on Comics. I am your half-host, Nico of COC. I'll be your host for this episode. Today we'll be talking about the big-headed villain for Marvel, and that is M.O.D.O.K. We're going to be talking about the M.O.D.O.K. Hulu series official review in this episode. Now, before we get started, guys, I do just want to say, I know it's been a while since we've made an upload. Appreciate you guys still rocking with us. The reason why we have not been uploading is because we have been, my cousin and I, Nathan, who run this channel as well, we've been working on a new episode of Staircase Story. It's the second episode. Links down below if you want to check that out. It is a new style of horror podcast. But without further ado, that's enough of that. Let's get into the actual review of the M.O.D.O.K. Hulu series. So, there's going to be no spoilers in this review, so keep that in mind. So, if you haven't watched it, this is not going to ruin anything for you. So, I've actually been waiting for this series for a while now. I watched it about a month ago when it first came out. I wrote a review for RealNSC.com, the Cousins on Comics subpage, which is down below if you want to check that out. All of the comic reviews and whatnot. We wanted to go ahead and start doing comic book reviews on this channel instead of just the top list. So we will be doing more weekly videos of reviews and top lists and whatnot. We're just adding this to the arsenal of things that we do on this channel. So I've been waiting for this series to come out for a while now. As soon as I heard about it, I actually never heard of M.O.D.O.K. before the announcement was made that Patton Oswalt was going to be doing this show on Hulu. Nathan was actually one that originally introduced him to me, and he said there was a show coming out, and I wanted to really dive into it. If you just look at him, he's got a giant head, so he's really intriguing. And of course, we did the top 5 M.O.D.O.K. moments and top 5 M.O.D.O.K. facts, which is down below as well, before the series came out. But I was super excited about this because it's actually something I really wanted to watch because he's a very intriguing supervillain. Now, when I saw it was a comedy, I was a little bit concerned. We're going to get to that in a moment here, but when I saw that Patton Oswalt was going to be doing the voice and also some other things behind the scenes for the show, one of the creators, I knew that it was going to be good because he actually wrote for a lot of M.O.D.O.K. comics. Actually, Head Games he wrote, which is actually what this series is kind of loosely based upon. So I really was excited about that. I knew it was going to be a good product, and I was very happy with the overall writing and the aspect of things on the show. So the first scene, we open up to a crying child M.O.D.O.K. and he's crying to his mom, who is regular size. Just a little side note for you. I didn't really know how I felt about this when I first saw this because, I mean, M.O.D.O.K. and also, furthermore, the show being a comedy, I didn't really know how I felt about that because M.O.D.O.K. is the furthest thing from a comedy character. He may look funny, but that's where the funniness ends. He's actually, like I said earlier, an evil genius. I mean, literally, his name is Mental Organism Designed Only for Killing. So, you know, it being a comedy was a little bit weird to me, and I still kind of feel that way, which we'll get into more in a second. But especially the opening scene showing him crying, I was like, I don't know, but I was really on the fence on this in the first episode. The series actually really improved, and I was really happy with it. But still, I'm a little bit suspect on it being a comedy because, again, M.O.D.O.K. is not a comedic character. He's not like a Deadpool or anything. Now, I like dirty comedies just as much as the next guy. You know, I really enjoy Deadpool, and I also like characters that are serious, but sometimes have a more comedy story arc, just like Thor Ragnarok. So I'm totally with, you know, character changes, but M.O.D.O.K., I almost feel that the show should have been a more of a serious thing. But at the same time, I understand it has to be marketable. And also it being a cartoon, stop action sort of animation. Can't really have too serious of a show with that sort of animation. So I get it. I'm going to give it a pass. And I really did enjoy it. I thought it was very funny, especially the second episode. As it went on, second episode, third episode, I was laughing my ass off. It was really funny. The voice characters that they got for this are really, really good. Now, one thing I did not like about the show is that they made M.O.D.O.K. really kind of a moron, per se. And I talked about this in my article review. I could see having the M.O.D.O.K. show as a comedy, but at the same time, M.O.D.O.K, I mean, his head is so giant because he's a genius. He's incredibly smart. He has a computer brain. So for him to kind of be a stupid, silly character, I thought was kind of lame. I think they should have maybe did it a little bit more serious in that way. You can have people around the character being funny. You can also have him being funny, but not being an idiot. You know what I mean? Now, one thing I did really like about it was that we got to see more of M.O.D.O.K's family, which again, in Head Games, which is a really good story arc, the series is really good, we get to see his family in there as well, and they basically mold the way that you see it in Head Games is almost identical to what you see in the show. And again, Patton Oswalt was very involved in that comic, so that makes sense. Now, one more thing I will have to say before we wrap this up is that I think the story for the show could have been a little bit better. So M.O.D.O.K's, mainly his main goal in life is to take over the world. That's basically what all of the story arcs in the comics are about. And throughout the show, not one episode, not one mission was of him trying to take over the world. And I thought that was a huge missed opportunity. I understand that the show was kind of based around him and his family life, which is very interesting. But at the same time, I think they really missed the mark in not having him try to do something evil, try to take over the world or something. He tried to take over AIM, which again is directly from the pages of Head Game. But I mean, that's his whole sort of MO, is trying to take over the world in every story arc he's in. So for that not to be in the show was very strange to me. I love the actual animation style of this, a lot like Robot Chicken, kind of that stop motion animation. Very, very cool. Overall, I really enjoyed this series. If you're a M.O.D.O.K fan or a Marvel fan or a comic book fan in general, I definitely recommend checking this out. It is extremely funny. Like I said, I laughed my ass off for most of the time watching this. I just feel that it could have been improved a little bit with some of the story arcs and some of the things that go into M.O.D.O.K throughout the years in the comics. And it is really cool also that we get to see Iron Man and a couple of other characters in the series. So that was very cool. Overall, I'd say I give it probably a 7, 6.5, or 7 out of a 10 scale. More videos to come, more review videos for comics and comic series, also TV series and movies, etc. Be sure to hit subscribe. More weekly videos coming. God bless. Thank you very much.